Welcome to the Dogs Podcast with your hosts, Blake Reneker, Justin Charles, and Josh All.
What's up, Browns fans? Welcome back to another Dog Pack Discord episode previewing the Giants game this week. Bringing in Kenny Mack for this special preview out of the Great White North. Me and Kenny are going to be linked up in Vegas next week, so we decided to bring him on a week early, do a preview episode here with us. We got a lot of good stuff to get into today, talking about the matchup with the Giants coming off of our big win against Jacksonville last week. Before we get into everything, though, remember, if you want to get your intros and your voicemails on the show, head to thedogspodcast.com, tap leave voicemail in the drop-down menu. You can also check out our merch store there. Another, I guess I'll call it merch. We just teamed up with Baden Sports. It's like maybe one of the coolest things we've done, and they created a custom football for us. It has our dog logo, and then it says the Dogs Podcast with our logo on it. I don't know if we'll have like a way to get it on screen at any point, or I'm sure we'll be putting it out on all the socials and all. They're pretty cool. So if you're interested in something like that, it helps the show out if you go and you get one. I told people around here if they buy one, I'll sign it for them. So maybe we can use them as giveaways. I don't know. We'll see how it goes, but they're really cool looking. So we don't have a quick link yet because we just got them today. But you just head to Baden Sports. It's BADEN sports.com. You just go to football. You hit search all footballs and you'll find it in there. It's pretty awesome. So we're super excited to be partnered with them. We appreciate them doing that for us. And if you guys go check them out and you like them, pick one up. It helps the show out a ton. And they're pretty cool. Pretty cool for a man cave.
And there's
YouTube.
Potentially a new hoodie coming as well from Baden that they're going to do for the Dogs Podcast. Yeah. So stay tuned.
Ooh, yes. Pretty cool partnership with them that it could be. So we help us out and get yourself some cool gear, something for the man cave. A hoodie coming up. It'll be nice. If you're watching on YouTube right now and you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. If you have subscribed and you help us hit that 10K threshold, we appreciate it. Make sure you have that notification bell tapped so you never miss any of the new content we're putting out. We're doing 2 full episodes right now with our reaction videos to the games and then our preview episodes later in the week. We're also putting out midweek episodes, kind of just keeping you up to date with news and all that good stuff. So you don't want to miss any of that. So make sure that notification bell is tapped. Or to just listen to the show, you can find us on Apple, Spotify, and Google. You can also find us on all the major social media platforms. Just search at the Dogs Podcast. Lastly, if you're looking for more Dogs content, you want to be part of the Dog Pack Discord episodes, you want to get your thoughts on actual episodes, you want to get us your input daily, 24/7, talk football with us, talk football with guys like Kenny Mack and all these other people you're going to hear from all over the world. Head to jointhedogs.com, become an official Dog Pack member on the Patreon page. Again, you get to be a part of these episodes in the off season. We do extra episodes every week that you guys kind of come up with the content for. You get access to the private Discord. You get to play fantasy football with us. And you just get to meet a ton of cool people. I mean, I'm going to be going to a game with Kenny Mack out in Vegas here in a week. In November, a ton of Dog Pack members are getting together in Cleveland to go to that Chargers game. So it's just it's almost an online Browns backers group. Kenny's, he does the Browns backers in person. We're almost like a virtual Browns backers group on the World Wide Web, connecting people from all over. So if you want to be on episodes, you want to get your thoughts on the show, you want to get to know us, talk to a bunch of cool people from all over, head to jointhedogs.com, become an official Dog Pack member. So, gentlemen, it's good to be here with you. Burning the midnight oil, recording late night. But game coming up for the Browns. We're hosting the Giants before we go on the road out to Vegas. This is a game, again, we talked about this kind of the tail end of our Jacksonville review, that there's no just gimme games in the NFL. I mean, they're all professionals. They all, they're all level pro athletes. Anybody can win on any given Sunday. On paper, realistically, if the Browns go out and play the way that they're capable of playing and they limit their mistakes, it should be a win for the Browns. This is a game that on paper, this is a game you're going, we have to win this game. You got to to be a good team, you got to win the games that you're supposed to win, and then you got to hopefully steal a couple of those toss-up games. This is one that we should win.
I agree 100%. I got a couple of points I just wanted to make real quick, throw my 2 cents out there. I know we'll kind of go around and talk and then start bringing some of you guys in the Dog Pack up here on stage. But when I was looking at the New York Giants, preparing for this preview and everything, they're through 2 games. I know it's only been 2 games, but their opponents are averaging 24.5 points per game scored against them. The Giants they're giving up 163 rush yards a game, 163. They just gave up 215 to the Commanders, and the Commanders have one of the worst offensive lines, I think, in the league. So even with backup tackles, the Browns' offensive line is significantly better than what the Commanders have out there. So I think this could be a game where Deontay Foreman and Jerome Ford kind of feast.
The biggest thing that they have to do, they have to not have any penalties. Not only do the penalties take a lot of yards away from Foreman, but it puts you in a poor position where you have the 2 for, 13 on third down conversions. If they have more manageable downs and not always starting at 1st and 20 or 1st and 15, I think they have a really good shot of doing what they did last time against the Giants when they played them 2-3 years ago. And I think they ended up winning 20-3 or 24-3 or something along that lines.
That's a great point, Kenny. I agree. I just want to stop for a second, and I'd just like to say congratulations to one of our franchises in Cleveland, the Indians/Guardians.
Oh, good call, buddy. Good call.
I mean, come on, guys. But also, fun fact, first time in history, all 3 professional teams made the playoffs in the same year. I didn't know that. I didn't fact check that either.
Wow.
But I had a couple people say that to me. So, shout those people out. But just about the game, they got some guys, right? If we're talking about that side of the ball, on the defensive side of the ball, and Brian Burns and Dexter Lawrence and even Kayvon Thibodeau, there's some dudes on that line. But I agree with you guys that they are, I guess, let's say underperforming, because they're, call it what it is. Right now, I wouldn't say that they're a top 25 team. You know what I mean? They're in the bottom echelon of teams right now. You can't just take it easy on them. Like you've said many a times, don't drink the Kool-Aid. Don't come in and be not ready. Don't come out lax and not ready to roll. But I completely agree. This is a game that they absolutely should win. But, to what Kenny said, if there's mental mistakes, if, we get behind on the sticks, absolutely, this can become a way closer game.
I'll address a comment here real quick before I give some thoughts. Tony the Italian in the chat says, this week smells like a trap game, though. Need to make sure we are dot our I's and cross our T's. I agree. I just think if I believe in Stefanski, and I know one of our games we were not ready to play this year. That's for sure. But just based on his track record, being a 2-time coach of the year, coming into games shorthanded last year with 5 different quarterbacks, still winning 11 games, I expect him to have the guys ready, not be, drinking the Kool-Aid, reading the newspaper clippings coming off a game that, we all thought they should win anyways against Jacksonville. And I think Browns players have to understand that this next 3-game stretch is really a time where they can really start to sync up, find their rhythm, start fine-tuning some things, because after these first 4 or 5 weeks, it gets significantly more difficult heading into the middle part of your season. So they got to come out with a high level of intensity, attention to detail, and they can't just lay down and come out flat because, we're playing a team that's 0-2. We don't think they're very good. Like, they're still professionals, and like you said, they got some guys on the defensive line, and it's not like our offensive line has been our strong suit so far. So we got to come out ready to play, smack them in the mouth. You're at home, defend home field, and it's really start to kind of ramp things up this season. We had the bummer game in week 1. We played significantly better last week, but still not, perfect. But let's keep building off of that improvement that we saw last week. That way we can be hitting our stride come week 4, come week 5 as the schedule starts to get tougher. Obviously, we're going to talk about the offensive side of the ball. We want to see from the offense. I just want to address, I think this is a bad spot for the Giants to be coming in, as they're struggling very much on offense right now, and they're coming up against a defense who is one of, it was the best defense in the league last year on paper at home. This year so far, I thought we played week 1 at home against Dallas for the most part. We were just on the field a ton. We also had 2 turnovers that set them up in good spots, but Dak only had 160 yards passing or something like that. It's not like they came out and just threw the ball around, threw for 400. So you're coming into a defense that's playing pretty well. Denzel Ward played 12 snaps or something last week. I didn't even realize it because we had the clamps on him so much. Martin Emerson, these guys are so good. Daniel Jones only completing 54% of his passes this year. He's played the Vikings and the Commanders. Bizarre. I mean, the Vikings have, I would say, solid defense. It was solid last year. I mean, we just saw him put the clamps on the Niners who are missing some guys. Maybe they're going to be a much improved defense, but I don't think of the Commanders as being a top-level defense right now. I mean, they traded away Montez Sweat last year. They traded away Chase Young. He wasn't doing much anyways. But for him to only be completing 54% of his passes that doesn't bode well to then come in and play in Cleveland against this defense, this kind of pressure he's going to be getting. He's already thrown 2 picks. The big thing you have to watch out for him is he's the team's second leading rusher right now.
Yes, yeah.
He's got 11 carries in 2 games with 47 yards. And then Devin Singletary is obviously their leading rusher. And outside of that, so I think Wan'Dale Robinson is their next leading rusher.
No. Okay.
So you gotta you take away Devin Singletary. He's got 132 yards through 2 games. He's averaging 5.1 yards a carry. So he's been solid through 2 games. And then Daniel Jones comes in next at 11 carries. The next closest person has 3 carries for 4 yards. That's their next leading rusher. So and Wan'Dale Robinson has 1 carry for 14 yards. If you can take Singletary out, they don't have anything behind him in terms of a run game. So you take him out and you limit Daniel Jones doing probably the thing he does the best, which is using his athleticism and running the ball. And you make him stand in the pocket under pressure, he's going to turn the ball over. I mean, that's what he does. Miles should have a strip sack this week. I fully expect some of these near turnovers that we've had in the first 2 weeks to start turning into turnovers this week. This is a turnover-prone quarterback, not just throwing. I mean, he has so many fumbles in his career. I fully expect like a strip sack, a fumble. I expect a pick or 2. I think this should be one of those games where Daniel Jones is struggling to get to 100 yards passing at the end of the game, at least in my opinion. Like, we should be in this guy's face all day on the defensive side of the ball.
I agree. And just to continue your point, man, if there's another guy that you can try to, take away, I don't know if you can completely eliminate him out of the game plan, but try to just shut down Malik Neighbors. Because after that, like you said, Wan'Dale Robinson's probably their next best receiver. But I think Neighbors is going to get his regardless. But, I mean, try to limit that. Because after that, there's not a lot after that.
No, I mean, for me, honestly, I'll just say real quick, this game is a little reminiscent of week 3 last year. Tennessee, they were coming in, we were looking at the stats, their defense and kind of their, offensive hangups. And we're like, man, this could be a game where the Browns really jump all over them. And we did. So I'm kind of expecting the same sort of output. I don't know if it's going to be like 27-3 or whatever that game was, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was. To address Tony's comment earlier about the trap game, and we'll get to it next week, I would be a little more fearful of the trap game being Las Vegas, out in Las Vegas after a big win this week at home. But we'll get to that later. But yeah, Sunday, I do expect big things from this team.
It's almost a trap podcast for me because I was looking over this podcast, waiting for Vegas next week. I can't believe that these guys are going to go to Las Vegas and actually have to play a game. Like, I don't know what I would do myself. But what I do like about this game, though, is I do like Deshaun to get back on track against the secondary. I think we got a good shot. Just like you said, against the Tennessee game, like Tennessee last year, I think Amari can go off, and we don't have to hear all about Amari doesn't want to play for the team and all this bullshit anymore.
Well, Blake kind of touched on it too. The team's been talking about, we're not really clicking at all cylinders and stuff like that. This is a perfect kind of run. Maybe not the Vegas game, but this is a nice little stretch of games where you can kind of you don't want to be trying to figure things out against Kansas City or Cincinnati or Baltimore.
Oh God,
you know what I mean? Like, this is a good time. This is a perfect kind of, I don't want to call it a tune-up, you know what I mean? Because I feel like it's an NFL, anything can happen in an NFL game. There's professional players, but I'd rather them get a little tuned up against the Giants rather than, like, let's say if we were playing a Buffalo or a Kansas City or some team like that, that is hitting its stride early right now.
100%. I mean, there's no such thing as a gimme game in the NFL, but there's definitely teams and bad teams. And we were hoping that we're a good team. before I get to the offense, you kind of mentioned limiting Neighbors. He's clearly the best athlete and the most dynamic playmaker. And I think the easiest way to eliminate him is just by pressuring Daniel Jones and not giving him a chance to get the ball out. Neighbors already has 25 targets through 2 games, 15 catches. A lot of that was in the second game. I think I saw it. Yeah, 18 targets or something.
19, brother. 19 targets
in the second game. I just don't think. I don't think the Browns. I don't think you'll be able to do that against Cleveland.
They won't have enough. They won't run enough plays.
I agree.
Hey, Dog Pack! Football season is the best time of the year, and it's here to stay until the Super Bowl in February. So get more out of football season with Underdog Fantasy, and you can win 1,000 times your money just by choosing higher or lower on your favorite player's stats like touchdowns, passing yards, receptions, whatever you want. I've been playing Underdog Fantasy for years now. If you've watched any of our fantasy talk before the season, you know I have like over 12 best ball leagues on Underdog here for 2024, but you could play contests all season long. The Underdog app is awesome. It's easy to use, and it's one of my personal favorites. Making picks on Underdog is simple, and signing up is even easier. Just download the Underdog mobile app or go to UnderdogFantasy.com, sign up using our promo code DAWGS, DAWGS, and Underdog will give you a free pick to use on your first cash pick'em entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. And you can also use our preferred fantasy sports link at signupexpert.com/dogs to access this great offer on Underdog and also see all the other offers available to you. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code DAWGS, DAWGS to claim your new customer special of a free pick and your deposit offer. Must be 18 or older, 21 or older in Massachusetts and Arizona, 19 and over in Alabama and Nebraska, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. Arizona, 1-800-NEXT-STEP, 1-800-639-8783, or text NEXT STEP to 53342. New York, call the 24/7 HOPE line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. Hey, Browns fans, have you guys ever tried to explain football to a little kid? It's near impossible to make the game of football make sense. First downs and punts and field goals and scoring and all that kinds of stuff. Meet Future Fans, an innovative brand that helps little kids become big fans by embedding the rules of football into parallel games and activities. The way Future Fans teach the game of football is so unique and effective. As an example, they've created a beanbag toss game with 4 tries to teach how first downs work in football, and then later connect those games back to the sport itself through a storybook that you read with your kids. Seriously, go check out the reviews of this thing. They have a 4.9 on Amazon. Imagine having your kid asked to watch football on Sundays with you, where all the ups and downs with your favorite team, Browns. That's what dreams are made of, though, right there, and Future Fans exist to make them a reality. So if you want your kids to understand football, Future Fans is for you. It's only $49.99. When you go to futurefans.com, use the code DAWGS and get 10% off. Unlock a lifetime of memories with the kids in your life starting now.
The only thing I worry is we play so much man. I could see us giving up a chunk play to him because he is such a dynamic athlete. And when you play so much man, we saw it against Jacksonville. I mean, Greg Newsome even had good coverage, and we still gave him a chunk play because these are NFL quarterbacks and NFL wide receivers. Sometimes there's no defense for a perfect throw. Sometimes the guy's going to have a perfect throw. I don't want to see. Make him earn it though. No like lapses in the secondary with miscommunication, but. I think the easiest way to take him out of the game is to just pressure Daniel Jones, just be in his face all day, not give him a chance to throw. And Neighbors hasn't seen a secondary like ours yet. He's getting all these targets against the Vikings and Commanders. There hasn't been a Martin Emerson or a Denzel Ward or a Newsome out there in his face. So I think that's the best way to take him out of it. In terms of the offense, I know in theory should be able to come out on the rock, rush for 200 yards this game, and control the clock, and it would deep. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that at all because that's not what we need to work on necessarily. I mean, obviously we need to improve our run game, and we saw an improvement last week, but we go as far as Sean's going to take us this year. I want this guy out here in the rock. I want him. I don't care if we're up 30 at the half. I want him, if you're going to take him out in the fourth, play the third like it's 0-0. I want him out here, throwing the ball around, getting in sync with Amari Cooper, working on all these things. Let's work on some of our, not having penalties when we run motion. Let's really open it up and let's get Deshaun his we saw his confidence start to come back a little bit with some of his eluding of pressures. I don't know if you guys saw the one replay from behind where the linebacker had the free shot on him. He just put an okey doke on him, made the guy drop his jock strap. That's vintage Deshaun. And then you saw him, the one scramble where he made disappeared under a pile of people and somehow comes out and hits, I think it was Moore or Judy or something on the sideline. And then he did the bow and arrow celebration, which I'm going to credit Justin Charles, because when we were up there interviewing him at the beginning of the year, Justin told him he wanted to see it. He told us he doesn't do it sometimes because sometimes they try to find him for it. But
we told him we pay it.
To see. Yeah, I told him we'd pay it.
That was bullshit.
Yeah, we're going to sell a lot of footballs. I think the key to Deshaun is all up here, and I want to see him continue to get that confidence back. And if it means coming out and upping a traditional game plan in terms of the opponent is, and normally if you're up 4 scores at halftime, and again, I'm not saying we will be, but say that happens and we dominate like we want to. I don't want to see us just go ground and pound, super cautious, boring. I don't want to see him benched midway through the third quarter. I think the guy needs to play. He needs to play. He needs to get that confidence back. Let's let him sling the rock. Let's let him do his celebrations. Let's let him get in sync. That way we have some stuff to build on. I'll take a win, but I don't want to see a 16 for 24, 170-yard, 1 touchdown game. What do we know after that? You know what I mean? Let's let him come out and do what we brought him here to do, and build off that. That's what I want to see. Obviously,
just find Amari, man. Find Amari. That's what you got to do. That pass game going.
Yeah, I agree. So that's my 2 cents in terms of what I want to see. Obviously, I know additionally you're going to come out and run the ball down their throats, but we're not going to be able to do that against Buffalo or Baltimore. We need a healthy, confident Deshaun who's slinging the rock. So got to practice it to do it.
Yep. So anyone else have any input for the game before we start bringing people up?
Bring him on up, man. Let's do it.
Well, the first one then, we've got True Senpai with his hand up, so we'll get him up here on stage. What's going on, buddy?
Yo, what's up, guys? How you guys doing?
What's up, my man?
Let's go. Speaking of the New York Jets, well, not the New York Jets.
Of the Jets.
Yeah, they're playing. Yeah, they're playing right now. They're actually looking pretty good. But the Giants, they got a little head of steam their last game, but the Commanders' coverage is young, so that probably played into the effect of Neighbors getting open a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas ours is very tenured to a point. I am happy that the Martin Emerson injury wasn't a long-term thing. He looked like he'll be back. That had me worried a little bit. I don't know. We haven't really heard anything about what's going on with Juan Thornhill.
He's on IR.
On the injury report.
He's on IR.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, they put him on IR last week. Yep.
No, I must have missed that one.
Yep, he's out.
Still a hamstring issue with him, I think.
Yep.
Okay. Well, that explains everything. Honestly, sorry, but I think Grant Delpit's better than he is, but that's just me. I've seen last game, I saw Grant Delpit pretty much hitting people up in the behind the field a lot. I saw him doing a lot more than Juan does, but I've always been a Grant Delpit guy. So, but speaking of our offense, and a lot of people thought that we were kind of doing Ken Dorsey style. I thought last game was more of a Kevin Stefanski called game because it was a lot more, I don't know, Kevin Stefanski style passes, runs, some screens thrown in there, more like a game manager type of game to be, like safe throws for Deshaun kind of thing. We did do the motion, but it seems like we're just rusty at it or still adjusting to it, because every time we did a motion play, it was either in backfield or we get 2 yards or just nothing really going for us real well. And my other thing that maybe you guys heard or didn't hear, Mr. Mel Kiper thinks that we should ban the too high safety thing. I think that's just dumb. I think offenses just need to get better. So, and to be fair, all offenses right now are way down from last year. But then again, there's been more starters not playing in the preseason. So basically the whole NFL is just facing the first, 2 to 4 games as preseason. So, what's your guys' take on that?
Hell no. Hell no. How many times have they done things to make the offense have a huge advantage over the defense for my entire life? Since Tom Brady got hurt, it's been nothing but here's more gifts to make things easier. And then they finally figured something out so they could start shutting down offenses. And now we're talking about we're going to ban it. Nah, that's stupid. Figure it out.
Terrible suggestion.
I guarantee you an offensive guru coach will figure out a way to beat that. There's no doubt in my mind. So figure it out.
That's the part of the game, right?
Might see the run game. Like if defenses stick with this too high safety look, might see like running backs become important again. I'm not going to say it's going to be like early 2000s, late 90s importance, but the only way to get them out of that look is to run the ball down their throats or nickel and dime them. You know what I mean? So you might see running backs and an emphasis on the run game come back over time if defenses stay in these looks. Mel, that's one of the worst. I saw the video and I'm like, Mel Kiper said a lot of stupid things, and this is maybe the worst one he's ever said.
Yes.
I think the best point he made was that offenses around the league are down right now, and so it's not just a Browns thing. Obviously, the offense was just beyond bad in week 1, and we all saw improvement in week 2, but it still wasn't a finished product. There's still some things we needed to work on. That's every team right now, guys. So if you're watching this right now and you're like, man, the Browns offense doesn't look like a well-oiled machine, there's very few offenses out there right now that are looking that way. One, like he mentioned, not a lot of guys playing in the preseason. The defenses are taking away the deep shots, making you earn in a little bit more. And then 2, how many offensive guys are injured? And I mean, if you play fantasy football right now, a lot of the league's top guys in terms of offensive threats are either hurt and banged up, missed a game, missed time in their game. So there's been a lot working against the offenses right now. So if you're at least everybody outside of Nick Chubb, knock on wood, where the Browns are pretty much healthy for the most in Njoku, we're healthy on offense. So our problems, we're not the Niners who are dealing with our entire offense being hurt right now. We just got to iron out the kinks and just adjust. In terms of it looking like a Kevin Stefanski style game, I agree. I've yet to see what the new offense is supposed to be, because we sure as shit didn't see it in week 1. And last week we saw a couple more motions, but I'm still not seeing, anything that's like blowing my socks off. Some of this is to do with the defense. Like we mentioned, you can't take a ton of shots when there's 2 safeties 15 yards off the ball. But we're clearly still working on it. It's still not perfect. So I agree with all that stuff.
I think it's funny that
I think
I'll just say real quick before the season, that wasn't it David Njoku? They asked him like, what can we expect from this offense? And he said touchdowns. And we haven't exactly scored very many.
We got 1 or 2.
Yeah.
I like what Brad was saying about just the start to the season. The preseason is just like back end making the squad season now, and your preseason's the first 4 games. You're not really fully formed until the 4th game. You don't know what you are. I don't think any real offense knows what they are. You looked at Kansas City. They just narrowly beat the Bengals. You don't really know what the Bengals are because they don't have, like you said, any of their guys starting, and their best guy is unhappy, so we don't really know how much he's into the game. And so it's tough to say what anybody is right now. And you can see, as much as people have kind of downplayed Sean Watson. His stats are mid. Like, I think even Josh posted, he's technically a top 15 quarterback. I can't remember what the rating was, passer rating, I believe.
PFF grade.
That was at PFF, yeah. So, I mean, he is top 15 in something. Like, there's 15 worse than him. So what are those fan bases doing? So I think everybody's just got to breathe and just wait till, like, week 4, week 5, just chill out. Shit's getting figured out, boys and girls. So, let's stop making the crazy memes that these people are going to the Super Bowl or Baker Mayfield's going to win it all, I'm
going to reserve judgment on this offense until probably post Commanders game. That's when I'm going to know. That's when I'm going to have a better idea of what we're going to be for the season in terms of philosophy, talent, all that good stuff. Like you said, nobody's playing in the preseason. Hell, it's like we got all of our injuries, knock on wood, out of the way in the preseason. Through training camp, and these guys hardly practice together. So I'm going to reserve judgment. I want to see week to week improvement, and I think we saw that from weeks 1 to 2. And I don't want to see any total dumpster fires again like we did in week 1. But I'm not going to say we're a finished product or we're going to the Super Bowl or we suck until probably post Commanders game. I think that's when we're going to have a better idea of what to expect out of this team going forward into the thick of the season.
Yeah, I think that's fair. So does anybody in the audience want to jump up here and ask a question, give some thoughts on the upcoming game or anything here while we've got you? All right, we've got, who's that? Tony the Italian. Come on up. Tony, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, gotcha, my man. What is up?
There we go. Hope you guys are having a good night so far. I know this is kind of looking futuristic, but I just wanted to ask because it's a good question, especially with Conklin being day-to-day, Jed Wills being the day-to-day. We know that DeJuan, his knee, I know it doesn't seem that serious because we did see him come in the back end of the Jacksonville game. But in your guys' opinion, do you think this team, and we all hope they do, but do we think this team is going to finish with a 3-0 record starting next week against Vegas and against the Commanders for the 4th game, pre the Philly game, have the ability to still win these 3 games, even if, say DeJuan is hurt and Conklin and Jed Wills don't come back?
I'll just say real
somebody
quick,
else wants to take it, you can't.
Yeah, just to speak to the practice report, the encouraging thing is Jack Conklin has been a full participant all week. So that's good to see. He hasn't been limited or DNP or anything. DeJuan was DNP on Wednesday, limited on Thursday. So we'll see what Friday brings with these practice reports and what the final designation is going into the official designation going into the weekend and all that. But, even if these guys don't play, going back to what Blake said earlier, yes, it's the NFL. Any team can win any Sunday, but the Giants are a team you just got to beat. Like, they suck. We should be able to go out there, beat them pretty handedly, as long as we don't make mistakes and we play our football. I am a little bit about the Vegas game, just because we saw what Gardner Minshew did with the Colts against us last year. That was kind of a trap game on the road. And if I think we were coming off a win then too, or maybe not, I don't remember exactly, but if we just stay focused, I think we could easily go 3-0 over these next. We have 3 very beatable opponents. We just have to stay focused and not make these big mistakes.
I'm going to double down on no penalties. So we are 3rd and manageable. And I think you can run through that schedule very realistically, 3-0. Not blowouts, not anything. I mean, those teams are still good. You got some mobile quarterbacks that we've struggled against. And but it's just, don't make the penalties and don't have the turnovers. And that's really what you want to preach.
Even if let's say they go 2-1, right? The world's not over.
Oh, right.
Because the division is very much up in the air. Right now, Pittsburgh, does anybody think Pittsburgh's running away with this thing?
I sure. Touchdown. Why touchdown? That's it.
Would I expect Baltimore to start winning games? Yes. Would I expect Cincinnati to figure it out? Yes. But even if you go 2-1, I say if you go in Sunday, if you get beat by the Giants, major panic. I think you have to go, whoa, what's going on that we can't figure our shit out at home and we just can't show up and be prepared for a game. But I see 2-1. The Raiders game is the one that makes me nervous out of those three. But even if you go 2-1, the sky's not falling, and just to be realistic about things. So I think we just have to not overanalyze every second of everything as Browns fans and just let the team play.
This episode is brought to you by Bodden Sports. Browns fans, Bodden Sports is your one-stop shop for all your athletic gear. Bodden started out perfecting and manufacturing the best balls in the business. Yeah, if that sounded dirty, that's more about your mind than my words. But hey, it's true. Baseballs, softballs, footballs, basketballs, volleyballs, soccer balls, you name it, and Bodden has engineered the highest standard sports balls available. And now they offer more than just sports balls. If you got kids playing baseball or softball, Bodden has batting gloves and bats to go along with both game balls and training balls. If you're into basketball, Bodden makes basketball specifically for indoor or outdoor use. Heck, Bodden even has all the equipment you need for pickleball, which is one sport that I hear everyone is playing and yet I still never have. And I need to fix that soon. But don't miss the backyard games section of Bodden's website where you can order everything you need for this upcoming outdoor season. Pool balls, backyard volleyball nets, croquet, bocce, horseshoes, cornhole, and more. Right now, you can get 10% off your entire order at Bodden Sports, BADEN sports.com/dogs, DAWGS, and use promo code DOGS when you check out. That's 10% off all the top quality sporting gear you need this season. BoddenSports.com/dogs.
One, I want to say the Browns, they better not lose or lay an egg in Vegas because I'm taking a long trip to watch them in that game. So yeah, I need a high level performance out of them.
And those were money.
Yeah. Two, just to mention, talk about Jack Conklin. I think he was during his media time or whatever, they were asking him, and he just basically said, we're going to see as long as this week goes well, he thinks he's going to be good to go. So I'm kind of anticipating Jack Conklin playing this week. I have a feeling it's going to be a left tackle because I don't know if Jed is going to play.
Well, I was going to say real quick, though, I think what I saw reported on Twitter today, I believe, was that Jack Conklin was practicing at right tackle this week, which means they're planning on James Hudson again at left, if that's the case.
Why?
That's I would say that's because they might not think DeJuan's going to be, I don't know. We'll see.
That happens to me. The DeJuan injury is worse than we know.
Right, exactly, yeah. Because he should be at right and Jack should be at left.
Up until this point, Jack Conklin has been practicing at left tackle.
Right.
So if they have Jack Conklin come in and play right and DeJuan play left, that tells me that the DeJuan thing is worse than and we know right now. And if there is a strength of the Giants on defense, it is up front. Oh, I don't want to take them lightly up front. Like the offensive line still has to come to play. We can't roll out a practice squad offensive line and then think we're going to do well on offense. So that concerns me in terms of I don't want to play James Hudson any more than we absolutely like. That's my thoughts on that.
I 100% agree with you on that one. We've got time to bring a couple more people up here before we get out of here for the preview show. Does anybody want to jump up and chat, give your thoughts, any questions, anything like that?
Where's Pastor Rob? He didn't want to stay up tonight?
He must not have, yeah. Maybe he does have to work tomorrow this time. All right, so
while
Truth
we're waiting
wants to come back up.
Oh, go ahead.
Truth's coming on back up, yep.
Can you smell what the Browns are cooking?
Oh, baby.
I'm going to take some hot takes. Ready? Hot takes.
Bring them.
All right. Deshaun has his first 300-yard passing game against the Giants. At least one passing touchdown and one rushing touchdown by him. And Jerome Ford has a rushing touchdown. And our defense gets its first interception of the season, finally.
Who is it?
I don't know for sure.
I'm going to go Denzel Ward because he keeps pretty much being right where the ball is, but can't He needs to go like be on the jugs machine, just like Amari Cooper, on how to catch that ball. So that's my hot takes. What are your guys' hot takes?
I don't think any of your takes are that hot, honestly. The 300-yard game might be the one considered the most hot just because he hasn't done it yet for the Browns. Is the opportunity going to be there? Because as much as I want him to throw the ball 50 times this game, even if we're winning, I know Stefanski's not going to do that. But if I was going to put money on who the pick would be, I'm going to say it would be like one of our safeties, just because I think we're going to pressure Jones. He'll make a poor decision, sail one, and then when these guys who's kind of playing free safety back there is playing center field, will come up and pick it. So that or like a JOK.
Ooh, Ronnie Hickman. Yeah.
I've got a hot take. Based on the first 2 games of the season, this would be a hot take. But I'm going to say Amari goes over 100 just based on what I'm hearing him saying this week.
I think they're going to force feed it, dude.
He kind of got humbled. He hasn't been taking things serious. Like, if you saw the quotes today, he said, he's been using practice as like an opportunity to get better, and he hasn't been using that. So my hot take would be Amari goes over 100 yards and a tutty.
I like it. I like it. I talked on Wednesday just real quick about a speculation about the whole Amari thing, and Deshaun has seemed to be on the same page with Elijah and Jerry Jeudy early on in the season, but they were practicing at voluntary OTAs together back in May. Amari didn't go to those. He's a veteran. They usually don't. Then he sat out for the first week and a half of training camp with the contract thing. And then he got injured another week into training camp. Didn't really practice much, Justin. He didn't practice when we were up there. Didn't play in any of the preseason games. So we see this across the league. We've already talked about it, but offenses are starting out slow, and it just makes sense why there's a little more chemistry with the other 2 guys, and Amari's kind of still getting up to speed to start the season. So I agree with you. I think they're gonna make it a point to feature him in this game and at least give him the opportunities.
Here's my hot take. With David Bell out for the rest of the season, hot take is that Jamari Thrash gets to play for the first time this year, and we will run one reverse with him. On it now.
How many yards?
Nice. Kevin will not be able to help himself. He's going to put him out there, and it'll be his first play out there, so everybody will be expecting it, and we're going to run a reverse to him.
Is it going to be on 3rd and 36?
No, it'll be on 2nd and 1 when we have all the momentum, and then we'll run the reverse to him and we'll fumble it.
Oh, man.
4th and 3rd.
If this is anybody's first episode, they're going to think I'm a Kevin hater. I just being facetious and being funny.
There's a little
wouldn't be
cutesy.
shocked though if he does get to play this week.
Yeah.
Guys, do we know the story on Michael Woods? Is
Michael Woods they cut him, right? Is he on the practice squad now?
I just was shocked that we elevated David Bell, then not him, and then so I think the door is open for Thrash to potentially play this week, or at least dress, if not play. And I wouldn't hate to see him because I think the Browns have a severe lack of speed and explosiveness on the outside. Like Amari, obviously all these guys are fast, but there's a difference between fast and just explosive fast. You know what I mean? Like a guy that just looks different when the ball's in his hand. And none of these guys are really that guy. And I think Jamari Thrash could be. So I wouldn't hate to see him get some run, especially if we're feeling good about the game and we're playing well. Let's get the rookie some reps.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Okay, so I think we've got time maybe to get one more person up here. If anybody wants to jump up, throw that hand up. Okay, Tony got it up first, so he is onto the stage.
I like seeing Tony in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully I see you at the game this Sunday too.
Yeah, come holler at me, brother. Section 512, man. I'll be fighting Giants fans by myself. I'm very ready. Yeah, I'll hit me up on the Discord, brother.
That's quite the long walk. I'm on the other side of the stadium. But instead of the keys to win this game this week, what is one key player that has to have a good game on offense, and what is one key player that we hope that has a good game on defense in order to win this game?
All right, let me start with I've got a defensive guy right away, and it's Alex Wright. Just because Myles Garrett has been hampered with this foot injury, we saw him play. He had 68% of the snaps last week. It's the lowest he's played in at least the last 2 years. He was limited last week. He said after the game, the foot's a problem, but I'm going to play through it. He has not practiced yet this week. He'll be active. I expect him to play. But I think that this is the type of game where if you can rest him, take the load off of him a little bit, that would be great. And Alex Wright has shown so far, like, he can be a dude. So Alex Wright for me on defense.
Defensively for me, I'm going to say it's BJ.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Obviously, he's been playing out of his mind early in this season. I don't think we're overly concerned about much of their offense, to be honest. I look for Schwartz to be extremely creative in terms of how he's going to bring pressure, because that's Daniel Jones. And I think at JOK is going to be able to play in space a lot in this game. And I could see him being in some creative blitz packages, maybe get a sack. I already said I would maybe bet on him being a guy who gets a pick. So I could see a big game out of JOK this game.
Yep. Go ahead,
I'm going Dalvin Tomlinson, boys. I'm going Dalvin Tomlinson takes over this game, because last time, a couple of years ago, Miles was not feeling as great, and we had Sheldon Richardson get after it. And I think we need Tomlinson to put his imprint on this game, control the line of scrimmage, and we'll control that our defense.
Offensively, go ahead. Who wants to go first?
Well, I mean, I know you kind of already highlighted Deshaun Watson earlier, which, I mean, yes, that is 100%. I'm just gonna say Jerome Ford, because I said at the top of the show, I mean, these guys gave up 215 on the ground last week to the freaking Commanders. Like, if there's a game where Jerome Ford can get like one of those big home run, like a 65-yard, touchdown score or something where he just breaks free and goes, it's time for him to hit a home run. So I think we see that this week.
I'm going to go with two people. I'm going to go with offensive tackle. Whoever shows up, I think the strength of the Giants defense is defensive end and or rush linebacker, I guess you could say. And I think I want to see our both tackles. Whoever shows up, whoever plays, great tackle play, and then Justin gets his Jerome Ford rush for tons of yards.
I'll take Amari. Just based on what we've seen the first two games, it hasn't looked great. It's obviously, there's alarms going off as far as fans seeing that. And even the media is kind of picking up on it now. So I will say Amari, I expect a bounce back game, and I can't wait to see it.
I was going to say, I knew you already mentioned Amari. I was going to go with a guy who has actually looked pretty decent for us in the first two games. I was going to say Jerry Jeudy.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I think him and Deshaun, he was one of the bright spots in camp. You heard is that when he did practice, him and Deshaun seemed to have a pretty good connection. He was one of the lone bright spots on offense in that Dallas game. And then I thought he played really well against Jacksonville. So I look for them to kind of build on that chemistry. I could see Jerry Jeudy in a big game for the Browns on offense.
He's shifty, man. His route running is super shifty. It's nice.
They were saying out of camp he's got more wiggle than OBJ at some points.
It's a little bit of wiggle. Yeah. That was my dad joke for the episode. You guys?
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, we got it.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll wrap this thing up. Big shout out to Tony the Italian and old true senpai for jumping in here and helping out the episode. My goal for the end by the end of this season is to get Mama Tendo up here on stage and shoot football with us in one of these episodes.
Mama Tendo.
Yeah. But we appreciate you guys being here, watching. Oh, Fado wants to jump in real quick. Do we want to give him a chance to get in here before we wrap it up?
Nah, screw him. No, I'm just kidding. Get on up here, Fado. No. What's up, buddy?
Homie, the homie. Let's go.
So I was going to say, I believe True Senpai said hot take, Watson hits 300 yards. Little info here. His 2018 season, coming back from his ACL, his week 3 game was against the Giants, and he put up 385 yards.
Ooh.
I know it was a long time ago, but, in his recovery season, his 3rd game in, he put 385 against the Giants. So, but we can only hope.
Hey, I have a new hot take. My hot take is that Fatal Gnome has a more Canadian accent than Kenny Mack.
Way under.
What he's not Canadian.
Yeah.
Good old Wisconsin.
Yeah. I'm just messing with you. That's
awesome.
I love having guys from everywhere on here. It's awesome. We need Pastor Rob on here. We could add all the best accents. We can get my mom on here. She talks funny. All right. Well, we want to wrap this thing up. I know we said we were going to try to keep it to like 30, 40 minutes, and we just got motor mouth tonight because there's so much fun stuff to talk about. Again, we appreciate you guys being here, watching these episodes, supporting the show, helping us out, getting us to a point where we have custom footballs with our logo on it. I never thought that happened. So we appreciate you guys supporting the show. Remember, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Make sure the notification bell is tapped. You can find us on all the major social media platforms. And if you would like this layout and you want to be a part of it, you think it'd be cool to come up here and give your input on upcoming opponents and what you've seen out of the Browns so far, head to jointhedogs.com, become an official Dog Pack member, meet all these guys, hang out with them, get to talk with us more one-on-one, be a part of the episodes. It's a really cool experience. It's probably my favorite thing that we've since starting the podcast. So if you're interested in that, again, it's jointhedogs.com. Again, thank you for being here. We will see you guys early next week, hopefully talking about a big victory over the Giants. Go Browns!
Roll Tribe, baby. Roll Tribe. Let's do this.
And go Tribe.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dogs Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Twitter at The Dogs Podcast. Get your thoughts on the show at thedogspodcast.com.
This episode is brought to you by Danger Coffee. Browns fans, we talk about how Danger Coffee is made free from mold toxins that are in 45% of the world's coffee, but that's not all that Danger Coffee has to offer. Mineral and nutrient deficiencies are a big deal. They make you feel sick, tired, stressed, and they can give you brain fog. These deficiencies negatively affect your immune system, your digestion, sleep, metabolism. Have you ever wondered why you get an initial burst from your coffee, but then you get that little crash not long after? Danger Coffee's patent-pending process remineralizes your body with more than 50 trace minerals and electrolytes, leaving you more energized, engaged, powerful. These micronutrients enter the cells to boost performance. They bind to toxins to provide detoxification support. I know that sounds like a lot, but the bottom line, guys, is minerals matter, and most of us really don't get enough of them on a daily basis. Danger Coffee delivers micronutrients, plus it gives you access to the minerals you already have. Head to dangercoffee.com, use our code DAWGS, DAWGS, for 10% off your order. And that code can be used over and over. So you get 10% off every order you make using code DAWGS. It's time to start every day off with a cup of coffee that gets you going and actually keeps you going. Dangercoffee.com, code DAWGS.
Get 15% off a set of BrakeMess Select, Select Pro, or Import Direct brake pads and 2 rotors now at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.